That one glorious word represents more than just the geography between the Sabine and the Rio Grande. It represents a unique idea and way of life. A life of rugged individualism, proud self-reliance, gritty toughness, and fierce independence. That is what made Texas, and that is what will save her again. Howdy, folks. Sam Houston here. I want to thank you for tuning into the Feed Bandit podcast. Feed Bandit is the Texas first outdoors brand built by rabid Texans, for rabid Texans, and all those who aim to be one someday. We unapologetically promote the ideals that shape our Texas pride and Texas first patriotism through our love of hunting, the outdoors, and the gear and apparel we create. Texas, above all else, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Check us out at feedbandit.com. And to repeat that great rallying cry from a former colleague of mine, liberty or death. Now, enough of my talking. Here are a couple of bandits that love Texas as much as I do. Enjoy.
Well, howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast. Jimmy back with you. And on this one, we're going to continue the series that we've been doing the last couple of longer form episodes called, where we've been going through the book, The Total Deer Hunter Manual by Field and Stream. There are 301 essential skills discussed in this book, and we have gone through the first 6. So we got a long way to go. So I wanted to keep plowing through these and see which things maybe you agree with, or maybe some things you disagree with, or just get a little refresher and some basics centered around deer hunting. You know, for all you very experienced hunters out there, if you have any young hunters, new hunters, anyone interested in getting out there and deer hunting, this series would probably be a really good one for them to listen to, because obviously as of right now we're going through, if you listen to the last couple of episodes in the series, we've been going through some good refreshers / basics that anyone who's trying to get into should listen to and really study up on. So the 7th skill that we talk about here is called Commit These 10 Rules to Memory. Heard them before? Good. They should never escape your mind. What are they? Well, rule number 1, assume every gun is loaded and treat it accordingly. Absolutely. Never point a gun unless, never have your finger on the trigger. Well, actually, before I jump ahead, let's just see what they are, and I'm sure this will cover all of them. Rule number 2, unload your gun when not in use. Rule number 3, be certain of your target and what lies beyond. Rule number 4, keep your gun safety on until you're ready to shoot. Rule number 5, keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Rule number 6, wear at least the required amount of hunter orange clothing. Rule number 7, know your safe shooting lanes, especially when conducting a deer drive. So a deer drive, we talked about that as one of the methods of deer hunting on a couple podcasts before. So if you're into deer driving, do that. Rule number 8, never walk with a nocked arrow. Rule number 9, never drink and hunt. Never drink heavily and hunt. Rule number 10, bring a cell phone and make sure someone knows where you are and when you'll be back. Obviously, number 10 was tacked on to this list in the last 20 years. But, yeah, for sure, take a cell phone, make sure it's charged. And, of course, yes, tell someone what blind you're going to, or where you're going, what kind of hunting you're doing. All right, I mean, those are good 10 rules right there. Maybe they, if you got a lot of young hunters, maybe it might be smart to print those out and paste them to the back of the deer blind next to that aging picture. Worth a thought. Okay, the eighth skill here I mean, I guess this kind of follows up closely to the seventh skill, which is the 10 rules to remember. But the eighth skill is be ultra safe. In hunting, the best policy is to be overly cautious. The first rule in gun safety, for example, is to always treat a gun as if it were loaded even when you know perfectly well that it is not. Why? Because it guards against stupid. Why? Because the average person does something stupid between like 8 to 10 times a day. Just go on the internet. As research for this, I killed a half hour on YouTube watching people fell trees directly onto their cars and houses. Yeah, you can find a lot of stupid things people do on the internet, that's for sure. The most dangerous thing in the deer woods is swagger overconfidence. Never assume that you can't do something dumb. Don't think, I could never mistake a person for a deer, or I could never pull the trigger without meaning to. Instead, double and triple check your target. Keep your safety on until the moment before you shoot. Always assume you could do something stupid and guard against it by being overly cautious. A lot of good advice there. Going back to the double or triple check your target, man, I am naturally kind of OC, in almost anything I do. So you can only imagine when I see a deer that I think I can shoot, and I'm looking at it through the scopes, or through the binoculars first, and I'm like, oh, that looks like a good one. Well, I don't know, it's this. No, I think that's a good one. Well, I don't know. The amount of times I go back and forth, till I really decide to do it. And then, if there's several deer out there, I'll be like, okay, this guy's going to go, or this gal's going to go. So I put my binoculars down and try to reach, but I try to keep my eye on the one because invariably I'll pull the gun up and try to find it in the scope. Then I'll be like, well, is that the same one? Man, I go all over the place. So, but I guess it's better to do that than to just immediately pick it up and shoot and be like, oh crap, that wasn't the one I was trying to shoot. But anyway, be very careful on that. Just reminds me of a time, and I was still kind of a relatively young hunter, but I was trusted to guide a first hunter. And man, I made the dumb mistake of thinking, oh, that's a great doe. It's got to be. And this is probably a big reason why I'm really paranoid now, especially when shooting doe. As I was like, oh, that's a good doe. Take that doe. Well, the other hunter shot it, and then when we get up to the doe, what was it? You're right. I'm sure you guessed. It was a button buck. And I felt, that was the worst feeling in the entire world. My confidence disappeared for like 2 years. So just double, triple, quadruple check. Make sure before you pull that trigger. Oh, man, that was years and years ago. And I still, every time I go to shoot a doe, I still, to this day, that kind of crosses my mind. All right, well, that was the eighth skill, be ultra safe. Very, very important. Nothing more important, probably. Should be probably the number one skill. The number ninth skill, strap yourself in. One of the many sea changes in deer hunting during the last 20 years is a huge increase in the use of tree stands, which has inherent risks. You should know what they are. Should you fall out of a stand, there's a chance you will walk away a little bruised. There's a better chance you will sprain or break something. And there's a real chance that you'll be eviscerated by your tree straps on the way down, break a leg when you hit, and be left to die in the woods alone. That would be pretty horrible. So while we're on the subject of stupid things, I'll point out that one of the very dumbest a deer hunter can do is hunt from a tree stand without using a safety harness, which, when attached to the tree, prevents you from falling. Last year, far fewer hunters were injured by bullets or broadheads than were injured in tree stand accidents. Most of those injured were not wearing a harness. Yeah, so you guys that sit in tree stands, take that to heart. I've honestly never sat in a true tree stand to hunt a deer, but you better believe, if ever I do, I'll be wearing that harness. No question about it. Let's see here. I don't know. I might keep this one really short, because next stuff we're going to get into in the next episode is, know about your deer, and the subspecies, kind of where they are, where they roam. We're going to talk about analyzing the anatomy of white-tailed deer, heads, what the heads and the tails look like between different kind of deer. So that should be kind of interesting. Deer senses, things of that nature. So yeah, this will be a little short one. Why not? Let's kind of stop here, and we'll catch that up those next couple of things that I just talked about on the next one. So remember, you had the 10 rules in deer hunting. We had, which all basically were individual items of the 8th skill, which was be ultra safe, of course. And then the last one, remember, if you're in a tree stand, strap yourself in. Simple as that. All right. Well, I hope you're kind of enjoying us going through these skills, and they're kind of little short popped episodes here. And stay tuned for the next couple. We'll try to shoot those out, relatively soon. All right. So I appreciate you listening, and appreciate you going through with me the 301 Essential Skills. Stick around. Come back for the next episode of the Feed Bandit podcast, and we will catch you then. All right. Well, you take care, and remember, support your local feed store.
Well, I hope the Bandits gave you an interesting episode that either entertained or educated you. Or better yet, both. Hell, I told them this podcasting thing looks harder to do than defeating Santa Ana. So if you would, please help them out by sharing it with all your like-minded friends to help the Bandits get the word out. And don't forget to check us out at feedbandit.com and grab some gear and apparel to support the cause of Texas. Remember, Texas, above all else, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Finally, as I said some time ago on the eve of the great battle, and I vigorously repeat here again, be men, be free men, that your children may bless their father's name. Well, fellow bandit, until next time.